Hey, thanks, Arjun. Thanks for that very insightful session with Amitabh ji. Uh, Great to know how India is moving towards a digital, sustainable, and a robust economy post the disruptions. Uh, it is my pleasure to be amongst this august audience today, looking at the future that India beholds for all of us. I am Jayant. I head the Advanced Solutions business at Ingram Micro. Looking at the latest IDC survey, it shows that the positive economic situation in Asia Pacific is really returning to growth, moving towards the next normal where digital first will be the key business investment. 46.3% of Asia Pac organizations are ready for the next normal of the digital world, where technology will be a key enabler for organizations to navigate through the next growth cycle. Moving on, let me just see how things are panning out for all of you. Let's look at the top workloads that are driving business today. This chart shows the three key drivers of the technology consumption. Biggest driver comes from an area of cost optimization, especially necessary in the situation of slow growth, slow sales, slow consumption, and OPEX survival is necessary. IT will play a key part on how organizations can automate and drive efficiency. And with work from home becoming a norm, organization data becomes exposed and vulnerable. Security becomes a key risk. Organizations will need to relook into an infrastructure that supports the new digital workforce. At the same time, maintaining the resiliency to changes going forward. Lastly, with the evolving Internet of behaviors, customer consumption, and purchase trends, business needs to adopt an offline to online engagement to keep up to the market demands. Let's look at what's ahead of us in the next couple of years. If you look at all the IT investments that are going to happen over the next 2 years, you would see automation, data management, security, risk management, and application performance taking really the majority of the investments. Let me spend the next few minutes talking about automation and data management and how they play an important role in the future for all of us. Let me start with defining what hyperautomation is all about. It is about automating the workplace by mimicking the capabilities of knowledge workers. Let me see how the same knowledge worker works in this hyperautomation scenario. Our OCR, ICR, image analysis, and biometrics mimics the vision. Chatbots, unstructured data, sentiment, and speech analytics mimic language. Big data, machine learning mimics thinking and learning, while intelligent workflow and low-code RPA mimics execution. That's how we look at hyperautomation. And when it comes to hyperautomation, robotic process automation is a technology that enables this for organizations, which can take care of human actions interacting with digital systems and software. The advantages that robotic process automation brings in is it works continuously, has very high accuracy, emulates the human actions, it is rule-based, easy to scale, and it's future-proof. That's what robotic process automation does for organizations. Now, what are those processes which organizations are automating today? Most of them are standard readable electronic types. Simple ones like rule-based ones, high volume or complexity ones, or processes with low exception rate. These are some of the processes that organizations are automating to stay ahead of the curve. Let me delve upon some of the common automation use cases. Now, every company, whether it is whichever industry it belongs to, can benefit from automation. And some of the most common processes that you've seen, which are getting automated, are in the areas of finance, supply chain, IT, HR, or customer service. For example, today in finance, process to pay or order to cash, or in HR like payroll, onboarding, and offboarding, or simple things like in IT, things like password reset changes or server and app monitoring, are processes which are getting automated at scale across the organizations. Now, when I look at who's adopting it, if you look at some of the leading brands worldwide across industry sectors like banking or financial services or telecom, retail, energy, healthcare, some of the biggest names in the business today are automating at scale to build their businesses of the future. Coming to a very mute point now is how does organization enable data management? Now, how big is this data? Now, I believe everybody is using Facebook and YouTube. Just imagine how much data you are consuming daily. Seriously, it is very difficult to quantify the size now. What is big today is small tomorrow. So to know what is big data, we need to understand the characteristics of big data. So allow me to move to how we look at big data. Now, the simplest way of looking at the big data is through the 3 V's. Let me just look at each one of these elements for a little more clarity. It's all about volume, velocity, and variety. Now, over the years, we've seen the size of the data has been growing at an increasing rate. For companies in the olden days, all the data was generated internally by employees. Currently, the data is generated by not just employees, but also partners, customers, and a whole lot of other stakeholders. For a group of companies, the data can also be generated by machines. Imagine how much data you send and receive from your phone daily. This is a major issue for those looking to put that data to use instead of letting it just disappear. Coming to velocity, traditionally the companies analyze data using batch processes. One takes a chunk of data, submits to a job, submits the job to a server, and waits for delivery of the result. With the new sources of data, such as social and media mobile applications, the batch processing will no longer work. The data is now streaming into the server real time in a continuous fashion, and the result is only useful if the delay is very short. For example, let's look at Google Maps. I'm sure everybody uses Google Maps. Google Maps uses smartphones as sensors to determine traffic conditions. It is reading the speed and the position of millions of cars to construct the traffic pattern in order to select the best routes for those asking for driving directions. Now, this sort of data did not exist on a collective scale over the few years back. Look at the third element, which is variety. Now, from Excel tables and databases, the data structure has changed, and there are hundreds of formats. It can be pure text, photo, audio, video, PDF, GPS data, sensor data, and the whole works. One no longer has control over the input data format. Structure can no longer be improved structure can no longer be imposed like in the past in order to keep control over the analysis. As new applications are introduced, new data formats come to life. Now let us look at, from an organization standpoint, how this data is playing out. Clearly, in an organization, we see two types of data, the structured data and the unstructured data. Almost 20% of the data is structured, which is largely about things like Excel sheets, databases, all of that. And the balance, 80%, is really the unstructured data. Now, anything that is not in a database or MS Excel sheet, which is like a PDF or an email or a video or audio, is all about unstructured data. Now, 80% of the data is unstructured, and we should ask ourselves how many emails we receive a day. Based on our research, on an average, an individual receives 120 mails a day. Now, challenges of storing unstructured data, which is very difficult. For example, you cannot save PDF document in an Excel sheet. Now, coming to what are the choices available to organizations? Let us look at this grand old debate of data warehouse versus a data lake. Now, what does a data warehouse do? Basically, a large collection of business data used to help an organization make decisions. The data here needs to be organized in very orderly manner, like one keeps books in a library. Now, data warehouse is limited to storing large structured data, and the hardware is typically high performance type, like a business class in an aeroplane. It is mainly used by the business analysts. Coming to data lakes, a data lake can store all types of data at any scale. It runs on commodity hardware, like the economy class in an aeroplane. It can be scaled out easily by adding additional hardware. It is mainly used by data scientists or data developers and business analysts. Now, coming to some of the best practices that we see in modernizing data management. First and foremost, analytics has to play across all your connected ecosystems. Whether it is batch processing, micro batch, to real-time decisions, These are things that are driving business decisions today. There's a frictionless data management, which is at the core of modernizing data. Across hybrid and multi-cloud environments is what customers are today applying data analytics. Query where it makes the sense most. It should help the business. Catalog, search, discover, and govern are the areas that one needs to look at while managing huge amounts of data. Data sharing and sync drives collaboration within and outside of the organization. Now, this is something which I wanted to share with all of you while you're moving on to this journey of data. And as rightfully said, data is the new oil. So coming to the company that I represent, Ingram Micro is a $49 billion organization with a worldwide presence in 59 countries, where 35,000 of our associates work, where the center of excellence of our customers is across 76 continents. We serve about 170,000 customers worldwide. We are a leading partner for some of the world's leading technology vendors. HyperAutomation solutions and data solutions are core of our business. Within Asia Pacific, we have about 1,000 plus HyperAutomation partners who work with our customers to enable their HyperAutomation and data needs. We work very closely with some of our leading technology partners like Dell worldwide in bringing the solutions to our customers. So thank you very much and wish you all a resilient, resolute, and reimagined India in 2022. Thank you.
Welcome to Ingram Micro, the world's leading technology solutions aggregator and distributor. We are humbled to be the preferred partner for more than 15,000 value-added resellers and service providers in India who cater to businesses and consumers across the country. We are proud of our team of talented and courageous associates who fulfill our mission of enabling businesses realize the promise of technology with integrity and responsibility. If you are already associated with Ingram Micro as an employee, partner or vendor, thank you for your continued support. And if not, let us work together to deliver great results that defy imagination.